if you look at the scorecards, there's obviously a different level in class and quality. But there's no doubt about it that Anthony Crolla is an absolute world-level classy operator, isn't he? And of course, even though he has lost this fight, he is still trying to win and coming forward. He's just so brave, isn't he?
So as they enter this last round, Chemo, they fought 24 tiring rounds against each other, and on my card, I have Crolla losing 23 of them. But don't let that detract from the fact that even though I have a massive conflict of interest as I'm part of the broadcasting team with the only promotional company that we broadcast, that Crolla is definitely world level. There is no doubt about that.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam. Join me tonight, Leon. What's happening, Leon?
How you doing, man? I'm all good.
The people in the chat are thinking we're so depressed because of the poor boxing this weekend that we didn't want to do a show.
I'm not depressed about that. It was a joy to watch Linares in action.
It was indeed. Let's start there then. Manchester, my hometown. Jorge Linares, Anthony Crolla, rematch. Unnecessary rematch in my opinion, but what do you think of the fight, Leon?
Well, yeah, I said it last week. It's the rematch that the people didn't ask for and didn't want. And he won. I mean, if you'd scored that 12-0, I could see it. Like, I gave him the first round and the 8th round. He was levels and levels below Linares, wasn't he? I mean, he was getting lit up in those last rounds. He could have stopped it, and Joe should have been more forceful and should have just pulled him out after round 10. Because he was getting... I mean, he landed every shot in the book on him, didn't he?
I was saying to Kimo before I was having a conversation with him, and it almost seemed like Linares felt bad for him at the end. Like I actually felt that Linares at some points took his foot off the pedal and thought, this guy's just taking a beating. And Linares seems like a nice guy, and obviously everyone knows Crolla's a nice guy, and I think he just had a bit of sympathy for him.
Yeah, I think you're right, because he was, I mean, that is almost as one-sided as I've seen in a long time. I mean, Linares, I mean, his attack is, he's got everything, hasn't he? You'd want in an offensive fighter. Yeah, Crolla was, I mean, was there a game plan? I mean, we all laugh and point and take the piss out of Joe, but I mean, it's with good reason. I mean, this just justifies all the shit we give him, you know. Just, you know, it's not just because he's he's just a mouthy cunt, isn't he? So, I mean, you can't really feel any sympathy for him because his fighters are horribly exposed at the top level on a regular basis.
And I don't want to use the H word, but if a trainer is more humble and then he doesn't get criticised as much if he fails at his job, and the problem is because he's not humble and he brags and he goes on with himself, and then he puts himself in the firing line to get a lot of negative feedback because you're not performing, your fighters are not performing. I thought Crolla looked better in the first fight. He looked awful for me. He looked very flat. He was using his jab and his bunny hop to get close, but when he got close, he didn't do anything. And a lot of that was due to Linares just counter-punching him in combinations and then just spinning off, and just like he just totally outboxed him, and Crolla was very poor.
Like Kimo said, he never threw a punch with his legs underneath him, did he, in the whole fight?
No.
Because he was always trying to get close. He never managed to plant his feet and throw anything. And it's just the lack of variety. I mean, they're polar opposites. Linares threw everything you'd want to see, and Crolla threw nothing. Nothing with any... There was no setting up of shots. I mean, generally, he looked like a fighter who was clueless after 2.5 rounds, Cam.
Yep.
He was lost. I felt bad for him because I like Crolla, and it's just, look, there's no shame. Like, out of everyone in that camp, like, he's the one that, you know, gets the least shit from people, right? From us lot who watch the sport on a regular basis. Because we like him and we know that he tries really hard and he's not full of fucking shit. Like, he took his loss like a man, like he has done in the past. And like he did in the last fight, he knew he wasn't the best guy in, you know. where's your fucking shoe shine box now, Joe? Hey, I mean, he was getting fucking lit up. There was no shoe shining at any point in the first fight and in this fight. And like Joe's voice note before, he lost. At best, he won 4 rounds. I think over the 24.
I don't know if you heard the same thing, but I heard that he had a rib injury prior to the fight and it reoccurred during the fight. Did you hear anything about that?
I didn't hear that. And look, fighters are, some people say it's brave to fight with an injury, and there's obviously little niggles, but if he has an injured rib, I mean, that's not a little niggle. I mean, no one likes it, but I would, you just fucking pull up David Hay and pull out if you were that worried. But I don't see that could have affected the numerous 4-punch combinations that Linares is landing to the head.
It is going to affect you though if you do have a rib injury.
Of course, but I don't want to. I didn't hear Crolla say that, and that's not an excuse. I mean, that would have happened with him fit, man. He was saying he was in the best shape of his life, that he'd been a beast in training, or that's what Joe and Eddie were saying. And
while I was watching the fight, Leon, all I was thinking about those Eddie Hearn iFilm videos where he was saying Linares was at his peak and I can't see him do any better, but I can see Crolla putting it on him and being much more better than he was in the first fight. And that was just going through my head constantly during the fight, because I thought, no, that's just bullshit, Eddie, man.
And look, after the first 4 rounds, the commentary narrative turned, didn't it? And they knew that all they could do is pump up Linares because he was that good.
Oh,
he was a classy operator. I mean, how many? I mean, it was like chemo taking his soul and got in there. It was like every third word was classy.
We need to do some type of classy swear jar or something where every time Adam Smith does that, like, he should donate some money to some charity.
I mean, if that was a drinking game, you'd be fucked after 4 rounds.
After 2 rounds.
You'd be on your ass. But look, they scored. Look, Froch, that's the first time he scored a fight right. What did he have it? 8-4, 9-3. I think there was one. I think he only had 1 10-10. They knew what was happening. That was a story and a tale that you could not twist. So they fully jumped on board and pumped Linares up. And, he does. But, I mean, now they're talking. Now Eddie Hearn's talking that he lost to one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Look, I don't really pay much heed to pound-for-pound lists or lists in general. Like, 1 and 2 I like. But, beyond that, I'm not really bothered. But the idea that anyone had Linares in their top 10 pound-for-pound, that's not... I haven't seen that. People might say that, but I haven't seen that on lists. On lists from journalists, on lists from fans, from broadcasters. I haven't, or other podcasts. He's not in that top 10.
That's true.
Is he?
I've never seen anyone really put him in the top 10, which is a shame because he's a top fighter. But he's
a top fighter, but you can't. They're moving the goalposts yet again with this stuff.
Yeah, but you say that you don't like lists, but our friend of the show, Jamaica worked on a list that you were rather fond of today.
Yes. We so me and Carpy and Mr. King and Jamaica, we're trying to work out what Joe's last legitimate win was. Like his legit win, his top win. And we came up with Barroso as his top last legitimate win. Our boy Jamaica went away and came up with a list of his top wins. This is Joe Gallagher, Trainer of the Year, Ring Trainer of the Year, top 10 wins in his career. At 10, I added this one. Stephen Smith versus Buckland.
For the uppercut, was that the uppercut?
Yeah, so that's in at 10. In at 9, Quigg versus Monroe. In at 8, Crolla versus Murray. 7, Liam Smith versus Thompson. 6, and here's little Krusty next run. 6 is, sorry, my phone's just locked itself. Come on, open up. Oh, fuck off.
You should have memorised that list by now.
Yeah, at 6, it's Callum Smith versus Fielding, 5 Callum Smith versus Mohammadi, 4 Callum Smith versus Rebrasse, because he's world class. 3 is Quigg versus the Ghost of Kiko Martinez. 2 is Crolla Perez. Number 1 is Crolla Barroso. They're the top. They're the 10 best wins we could come up with in order, and that's the trainer of the year.
And if you go,
and that's not in 1 year. That's over a period of years.
that is a pretty poor list. But if you go over that list, how many of those fights would probably do nothing for 4 or 5 rounds and then let the guy tire out?
Well, exactly. Well, definitely 8. Crolla Murray was. Liam Smith versus Thompson, definitely. Barroso, Perez, Smith, Buckland. The only ones were the kind of blowouts. I mean, Kiko got blown out, Fielding got blown out, and then the Rebrasse and Mohammadi were just... I mean, the Barrasse was horrible, in that fight. So, I mean, these are not world-level wins. Not one of them is a world-level win, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, they've beaten international fighters. There's no way Thompson's world class. Kiko was a world level fighter at some point, but not at that phase. Callum Smith fights on there. They're all Euro bums and one Yank bum for Liam Smith in Thompson. Because I mean, come on, let's be honest. He won a glorified prize fighter and got a world title shot.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is why we shit on him, because we hear and we see a half an hour Eiffel film, interviews and all the stuff he talks about, and then that's what he has to back it up.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, American trainers wouldn't mention one of them in their top 20, would they? Really? All the good Americans?
No.
Trainers? No. They're mean,
All right.
Some of them are stay busy fights, for fuck's sake, man.
Yeah, let's move on quickly. What do you see next for Crolla? I know you were saying a rest, which I think's fair, man, because when you look at his age, he's not even that old. I think he's 30, and for his age, he's had a lot of fights. He's had 40 fights, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of camps. He's had a lot of cuts throughout the years, so a lot of scar tissue. Same possibly going to 140. Obviously now that would put him in line for a fight against Ricky Burns, in-house fight, which would be a biggish fight in the UK, easy to make. What's your thoughts, Leon?
My thoughts are he should fight Flanagan, but that's the fight that we want to see. That's the best fight. We'll sell the best tickets, even though Eddie Hearn. I watched an Eiffel London video this week because it's like our boxing version of Arsenal Fan TV when Gallagher loses. So, and Hearn, I've lost my thought then. What were we saying?
I was saying about what Crolla can do next, and maybe like the Burns fight, and you were saying maybe he should fight Flanagan. Yeah.
And then, and Hearn was shitting on Warren as always, going, "Oh look, they haven't sold any tickets. This place isn't going to be sold out for that fight. So he is the champion, but we still hold the power." It's just like, come on, man, just make the fight. Even if Crolla goes over to BT Sport, let the guy go, man. You've made good money off Crolla with shows and put him in good fights and done well by him. And, no one holds anything against Crolla because, like we said, we all like him. But let him make that fight with Flanagan, even if it is on BT Sport. That's a great fight. If he wins that fight, you might be able to drag that back across and stick it on one of your stinking pay-per-views, couldn't he? The rematch.
Exactly. Like, it is the fight to make. Obviously, both Manchester guys at the same weight class, went to the same school. One supports Manchester United, one supports Man City. Like, it's a dream, really, for Eddie Hearn. The only concern is, obviously, he doesn't like working with Frank, and anytime you can kind of shit on Frank. Vice versa, though. Frank does the same. He kind of criticizes.
Oh, yeah, of course. They're both as bad as each other, Yeah. I'm not a fan of any of these guys.
Did you see Frank Warren put a little truck with a sign outside the venue on Saturday promoting the fight in 2 weeks, the card in 2 weeks?
Yeah, that was a bit... That was a bit budget, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like next to the kebab van.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cheap shot, but... I don't know. For me, Crolla, 140 is going to be... He's going to be small at 140. Take that Flanagan fight. But again, I read today Hearn says that Crolla deserves £1 million for that fight. Like, I like Crolla, but that's not £1 million purse fight.
So what do you think Crolla's made in these last few fights? Like 300,000, maybe a bit more?
I would have thought so, yes. Because he's probably getting a good little percentage on the ticket sales as well. So, yeah, probably something around that figure.
So if he went to old Fish Eyes at first and went, I need 750,000, and they were able to make the fight for 550,000. We don't like talking about business, but you could. There's ways of making that fight and still making good, life-changing money.
And it makes sense.
£1 million.
That'd be a big fight over here.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
I mean, it makes the most sense. I mean, what's he going to do at 140?
Nothing.
And is he going to hang around for 8 rounds? Like, I mean, that's what he did in this fight. He didn't start doing anything until the 8th round. I mean, you're not going to do that a weight division up, are you?
No, and he's not really had power at this division, really. I know, like, past couple of years as his body's looked a bit better and people have questioned maybe him juicing, but yeah, he's not really had the power. So at 140, he's going to have zero power.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think just going quickly back, you also, I guess, we have to look at the fighters, right? Because as much as we enjoy shitting on Joe Gallagher, he's not in the ring. And those guys, do they have that much blind faith in him that they're willing to stick to that game plan so tightly? In that fight, he knew he was in trouble. And he might not have been able to do anything to have won that fight. But did it change at any point? You know, you've got to take responsibility. It's an individual sport, Cam. You're not relying on team members.
Well, it did look like he wanted to pull him out in the last round, but before the last round. But even that in itself makes sense. Well, he's took the beating for 11 rounds. At least let him finish the fight. If you're gonna pull him out, pull him around the 8th, 9th.
Yeah, but these Crolla could have made a decision to try and do something different, and he didn't. So that does suggest that they only work on one plan. It does suggest that there's not something that he feels comfortable falling back on to try that. Right? You know, because otherwise your instincts would kick in and go, oh, I'll try that other thing that we were working on in the gym for the last 8 weeks, the training camp we've had. That must be a fucking boring ass fucking training camp. Go in there for 6 rounds. We're going to spar him for 6 rounds. Do fuck all. I want you to do fuck all for 6 rounds. Now we're trying. But you know what I mean? It's like, what are they? There's no difference to any. There's no other game plan. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no other game plan in his mind to just try something different.
Well, we'll get to it in a minute, but that Marcus Morrison fight, where a total great example of when a fighter should be pulled out. And no, he just kept sending them in there to get beat down. But let's just finish on Crolla Linares. Ideally, we would like to see Linares Garcia next. You think?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they're setting it up that way, didn't it? I mean, Linares was only thanking Showtime and all that stuff at the end of that fight. I imagine Garcia, he's not tied up in Al Heyman, is he? He's just a guy on his own.
Yeah, I saw an interview on Boxing Scene. He was saying that he's had negotiations with Schaefer at Ringstar Sports, his new baby, and he's had conversations with Oscar at Golden Boy, and the way he comes across is he doesn't want to get tied into anything long term, so he just wants something good money and short term, which is understandable because the way his situation ended with the Top Rank is look how long he was out of the game, so you can understand him being not too excited about signing long term contracts.
He doesn't need it. He's built himself up enough, had that time off, comes back out. I mean, fucking nearly half kills the guy. He doesn't need a promoter. He can just sign a deal with any of these other guys and let them fucking get on with the work, right?
Yeah, no, I was talking to Lim over the weekend, and the issue is, who is Golden Boy really got, apart from Canelo? You probably say Linares is their probably second biggest draw. And he's a guy that's a bit of a road warrior. He's not really a guy that sells in the States. And if you put him against Mikey, well, Oscar's going to want some type of some type of dibs on Mikey, because if he's going to take out his second best guy, he's not wanting to just go into the sunset and sign for someone else 2 fights later. He's going to want some type of options on him.
Yeah, but I think 1 or 2 fights is fair these days.
I think it's fair, but when you're a businessman and you spend a lot of money building a guy up, you want him locked in for a couple of years.
Oh, but I just think if I was Golden Boy, I'd work my arse off to make a deal with him, even in the short term, because they need that. They need that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the business, guys. That's what we excel in.
The businessman is on the line. What's happening, Dan?
We're experts.
Absolutely. I'm trying to apply for a master's in boxing business at Harvard, but I don't think they have such a degree.
No, they do. Al Heyman started it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Do they offer online courses?
Yeah. You pay money and you don't know what you get afterwards. It's very secretive.
Yeah, exactly. And for internships, you have to go to local gyms and just pretty much work the spit buckets, I hear. That's the accreditation program. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, good fight, man. Linares is definitely classy, isn't he?
Have you had a chance to watch? I know you were busy over the weekend.
I did. I watched the fight, but not with UK commentary, unfortunately. Just Paulie's bum ass.
I think that'd probably be better, to be honest.
Yeah, but I missed out on all the classy operators. And Carl Froch, the master of the 10-10 rounds. So I definitely didn't get my fill of that. But
actually,
yeah, Linares is good, man.
While
you
mentioned Froch, just want to quickly shit on him because a couple of weeks ago when Gavin McDonald fought Ray Vargas, he was kind of like advocating dirty tactics, and he did it again.
It's not really Crolla's kind of style to be rough. I mean, you can chuck a couple of body shots in borderline, chuck the head in, follow through with the elbow, let the referee sort the fight out. If you've got to get rough, but make Linares as uncomfortable as possible.
What type of shit is that? Okay, if you got to cheat, then just cheat.
That's too honest for his own good.
Good job he's not an active boxer anymore.
Jesus, Cam, you were just ready to use that, huh? You're a spiteful motherfucker.
The thing is, I spent my time to snip it down and so if you take all that time, you want to get use out of it.
Yeah.
But sorry, I cut you off, Dan.
Okay, well that's it for me, guys. Cam just wanted me to be on the show just so he could play that soundbite. So that's all I got to say, and that's it for me. No, but yeah, Linares is good, man. I think that's the best Linares that I've seen to date, and I know Crolla isn't a world-class fighter. He's certainly not as classy as Linares is, but he sure has a lot of balls. But yeah, Linares looks good, man. I think he's one of the best combination punchers in the game, even though I think it's more flash than substance. Yeah, man, he knows how to put his punches together in a way that not many fighters know how to do.
I mean, Leon, we're just talking about him and Mikey possibly next, hopefully, fingers crossed, and you and me spoke about it yesterday. If it was to happen,
yes,
easy work for Mikey, or?
Yeah, I think it's easy work for Mikey, and that's no disrespect to Linares, but I just think Mikey's style is all wrong for Linares. As good as Linares is, that he's very open to a lot of counter punches that Crolla just wasn't.
Lim, are you outside?
Stand still.
You're getting a lot of, I don't know if it's wind noise or...
What I was just saying. Yeah, it's really windy out here. Is it still bad?
That's okay now.
Yeah. So the thing about Crolla is that even though he looks really classy against, very, very basic level guys like Crolla, there's still fighters that could take advantage of just how aggressive he is. And I don't know, maybe Linares fights in a different manner when he fights Mikey, and I'm sure he will actually. I think too oftentimes what fighters, or not fighters, but what observers forget sometimes that fighters can fight in different ways. Just because one guy fights in one way against one guy doesn't mean he's going to fight in the same fashion against someone else. So I used to think that Mikey just mopped the floor with him, but I actually think it'll be a pretty competitive fight. I think it'll be really interesting. But unfortunately, I still think Linares has real weaknesses, that aren't exposed in fights against like Anthony Crolla. Like you're only gonna see it against very tough level guys. Like as crazy as it sounds, even if you fought a guy to the level of Tony Yayo Thompson, I don't know how good Yayo is nowadays, but back when Linares fought him, I still think Linares would have issues with Thompson, like this level of Linares, because he's always going to be susceptible to come forward aggressive fighters who have more pop than Crolla does.
It's funny you mention that, because I was talking to Joe Morgan today, and he was talking about Mitchell, and Mitchell gave Linares a lot more problems than Crolla did in 2 fights.
Yes. Yeah, because I think Linares is a very flashy operator, but you actually watch him, or if you put him in against the right level guy, may not even be as good as Crolla is, or who hasn't achieved as much as Crolla has. I think he's going to have issues just because of his style. He's gotten so much better in terms of sitting down on his punches than what he used to do in the past, which is great for him. But at the same time, I think when he fights somebody who has a decent chin and can pop, I don't know. Like to me, Linares is like that super expensive, sports car that just breaks down all the time. Like it may look fucking amazing in spurts, but there's also times where it may not look so good against even lesser opposition. And I really feel like Mikey would just. I can see Mikey just like Zlatacaning him, in the later rounds after a really competitive fight initially. Because skill wise, I think Linares is like top pound for pound, but against the right opponent, because I don't know if you can get away with all that shit against a really, really solid counter puncher like Mikey.
Leon, what do you think? I know it's early to talk about it, but if Linares and Mikey were to fight, do you think it'd be a closest fight, or like Lim, do you think it'd be easy work for Mikey?
I never said it was easy work. I said it would be very, very competitive early, and Linares would get the best of him. But I don't trust his durability. That's all.
Yeah, he's a devil. He's a big puncher, Mikey. I mean, he's a bigger puncher than Linares. I mean, I think Linares gives anyone trouble, especially early. But like I think Mikey will time him in the end because Mikey's potentially that good.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be interesting to see what happened because like against Crolla, he was throwing single jabs, single shots. So someone who can throw like a double jab to get in, you can get to him. But I mean, Crolla didn't even attempt those things.
I actually think Zlatacanin would cause Linares a lot of problems. Because he does exactly that. He kind of double jabs, get on the inside, and works when he's there. And
he makes himself small, doesn't he? Where he was dead upright, wasn't he? Crolla, fucking straight lines. He was like a tram or a train, wasn't it? Like the turn, it would take you a fucking big old swerve. I mean, he was just straight lines all night.
Yeah.
Linares doesn't have the power to keep someone like Zlatacanin off of him, but who knows, man? Zlatacanin may never fight again. I don't know what the status is on that guy, and that's the thing that's actually the one criticism I would have of Linares. It's just his jab. He doesn't put any gusto behind it. He just taps it.
Yeah, I think his jab is just there to set up the backhand. He kind of just uses it as just a 1-2, but half a 1.
Did you kind of notice him throwing like little half shots where he wasn't even like trying to hit Crolla?
Yeah,
it was weird early on.
And he did good. That's like a triple G type of tactic that he uses. That is honestly, I don't know why more people don't do it, but he did it more so just to like put his body in the right position to put more leverage on his body punches. You know what I mean? Like he would throw a jab just so that he could angle his body to get more torque on the left hook to the body, which is beautiful, man. Which is awesome. Yeah,
his body work was beautiful. I mean, he could. I think he could have. If he kept up that pressure to the body, I think he could have stopped him, Cam, in those couple of rounds.
Yeah, but I'm always going to hate Linares because of his wife. I'm the jealous type.
I was going to say, is she up there?
I don't want anyone to be. Huh?
Is she up there, pound for pound, top 10 girlfriends, wives of boxers?
I mean, are there even 5 that are worth mentioning? I mean, isn't by default she 10? I mean,
she's number one easy, isn't she?
Number 1. Wow. I mean, does sisters count? Do sisters count?
No.
Okay. Well, how is that so authoritative?
Because I don't want to know about boxers banging their sisters.
No, I didn't say that. I just meant like in general. Like, geez, I never knew that there was a stipulation where you had to actually have sex with this lady in mind. But
no. There's a stipulation down now. Stick to the fucking rules.
I just want to say that you guys need to stop hating on my girl Michelle Joy Phelps, man. What's up with that?
She's a fucking chocolate teapot. She's fucking useless.
I don't even know. Well, I don't even want to know what that means. But
so imagine a teapot made of chocolate. What would happen if you poured hot water into it?
Okay. I guess
it'd be fucking useless, wouldn't it?
Useless. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I guess you're just not a fight fan then, Leon.
I'm not a fan of that bullshit.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, she's definitely top 10, honestly. I mean, she's honestly not my type, but she's still beautiful, but just not my type. But Linares is winning, man. Like, this guy has had such a, volatile career. I mean, he won his first championship when he was, 21? Like 10 years ago? So, like, I used to hate on Linares because he reminded me of, like, a Khan type of fighter, and I hate that style, but he's made me eat my words, to the fullest. So, full on props to that guy, and I'm happy for him. He seems like a really good dude with a pretty crazy background, right? Being Venezuelan, living in Japan, he doesn't seem like he has like a real home, and I don't know, man. It's gonna be weird because him versus Mikey, as great of a fight as it is, it's not gonna be that big of a fight just because Linares isn't that big of a draw. So
no, but I tell you, I mean, if you living in Japan, which is a fucking fantastic country, yes. One of the probably the best with that wife. I mean, he is team leader of team winning.
I don't know, bro. There has to be some other guys like, the Charlo brothers, like Lions Only. That's up there, right?
They take it out for wearing those whack fucking denim jackets.
Oh, he's
I'm wearing one right now, man.
Yeah, but you take L's all the time.
He's a classy operator, fucking, like we said. He's living the life. He's out there smoking filterless cigarettes, watching French films, going to art galleries. He's not fucking bumming around in denim talking about lions. Exactly. We're talking about an elite individual here. Eating Kobe beef.
I hear you. He definitely, fits the bill in terms of kind of like your modern day kind of complete boxer, and then just like athlete in every sense of the word. But I just wish his legs were a little bit bigger for my own personal sake. They're a little bit thin for my liking. But yeah, great fight. I would love to see this division get reconciled in the sense that I want to see the guy that's fighting Petrov. Hopefully he can fight Robert Easter afterwards, and we can get like a full-on unification.
Yeah, I think they could make that fight, Cam, actually. That's a good point, that Flanagan-Easter fight. Yeah,
especially now Frank's got a bit of a money war chest, and the fact that Gervonta's coming over, it might encourage more dudes to come over.
And isn't what's his face? So Mitchell's the guy that's fighting Petrov?
No, it's Flanagan.
Flanagan. He's on BT Sports, right?
Yeah.
And then this guy... Crolla's on BT Sports.
No, he's on
Sky.
Sky. Okay. Oh no, but the guy Gervonta's fighting on BT Sports, right?
Yeah. He's on BT
Sports. So there's at least like a relationship that's building, right? Where Heyman fighters can fight on BT Sports as long as it's the right kind of money.
I think.
I am. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Leon.
They've got good money. BT, not massive, but they've got good money. Wouldn't you say, Cam?
All right.
Yeah, I would say that. And yeah, Dan, Heyman fighters can come over and fight with either Sky or BT. They don't really have an issue with that side. It's just that Sky and BT, in the sense of Hearn and Warren, they don't work together.
Mm-hmm. But let's be fair to Frank. What Frank's done is got a proper champion over here, not on pay-per-view. Eddie hasn't done that in a while.
I was listening to the show a little bit prior, and man, you guys love to shit on Eddie Hearn, man. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh man, I'll shit on all promoters, but he brings it on himself, man.
Yeah, but Leon, he does good impersonations, though.
I'm not interested in watching fucking YouTube videos. I just want to see fights,
Who's the bigger dick rider, Ellie Sucksack or Kugan Cassius?
I haven't watched an Eddie Sackback video in about 5 years. He's just fucking triple creepy, isn't he?
He is.
He's a little creep.
Yeah,
but
he posted videos. Yeah.
Coogan's just, I don't know. Coogan's just very, very. I mean, he says a lot of stupid things, but he just plays it very safe on both sides. To be fair, on both sides he plays it safe. I mean, his partner James Helder, he's useless. Cam, you were saying about how Crolla had been through a lot of wars, knocked out, beaten up, and that he's actually, for 30, he's been through the mill, right? Plus, some toe rag tried to cave his skull in with a slab.
Yep.
James Helder went to Eddie Hearn. Crolla, he's a fresh kind of 30, isn't he? He's not that kind of old 30, he's a fresh 30.
Is that what he said to him?
What? Yeah, what are you talking about? You're meant to be a journalist.
These guys are not
fucking read it. The guy got his fucking head caved in with a slab, man. He's lucky to be alive. Fresh 30. Fuck.
Shit.
I swear, man. These boxing journalists, it really does attract the strangest of people, man.
There's some good ones and there's some horrendous ones.
I don't know, like maybe two. There's 2 or 3 good ones, maybe.
I think there's people out there trying to do some interesting, do honest work and good work. But I mean, it's difficult to get to them because of all the fucking dross. I mean, I didn't know Phelps was on that Totozo podcast. You know that, Cam?
No.
Which one's toe to toe again?
It's a Sky one. I had to tune in and listen to that one because Spencer Fearon was telling everyone that he's not a racist because he's got a picture of Willie Pep on his wall. So I had to just tune in to hear him say that. And then she was on there and she was... she got the knockdown wrong. She said that Jacobs got knocked down in the first round. So that's a fucking fail straight off the bat in your first sentence. And she talks fucking nonsense. And then today she's gone full retard, man.
I like her hair, though. She has nice hair.
Everyone says she's pretty. She's got a face like a bag of spanners. Fuck her.
She's pretty, man. She's a pretty lady. I'd definitely take her out to dinner.
What did Brian tweet? If she looked like Susan Boyle, no one would care what she had to say.
Well, no,
I'm not saying that, but
that applies to pretty much every. Well, actually, no.
It's a sexist world we live in, isn't it?
Dan, do you know who Susan Boyle is?
What?
Does Dan know who Susan Boyle is?
Of course I do, man. You think I live under a fucking rock? That was like the most trending YouTube video of fucking like whatever year it came out. But of course I know who Susan Boyle is.
Fair enough.
She has an incredible voice.
I didn't know she
However,
was...
I did just watch the Leroy Jenkins video for the first time a couple of days ago, which is quite sad.
Oh, well, better late than never.
Yeah, but just going back to guys, just try to take it easy on Michelle Joy. I mean, she's still learning the game, She still has a lot to learn and grow from. I'm going to regret saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways because it's kind of funny. If you had to put your life on
don't say it. Don't say it.
Do you think that Michelle Joy Phelps has had sexual intercourse with Eddie Hearn?
If it's a hypothetical question... 100%.
Okay, all right, good to know. I had to get that off my chest because, I was about to ask Michelle Joy Phelps out to dinner for the Frampton Santa Cruz fight in the second one, and then Eddie Hearn just popped in my head, and I was like, I can't have Eddie Hearn's leftovers. What am I doing? So, but anyways, back to Linares. I think Linares is a world-class fighter. No, I do want to make one more point though. I think Linares is. Do you guys think Linares is better skill-wise than Amir Khan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the durability that they both kind of have issues with, and then isn't it? I was just thinking this the other day because isn't it sad to think that despite all of Amir's flaws, like the guy has done so fucking well for himself, like financially, just in terms of his career, and like Linares' career is like the exact opposite. I mean, yeah, he's starting to finally get this kind of recognition, but like his career is just so peculiar. I think.
I think. Amir definitely helped that, he had the kind of British public behind him early on. And with Linares being from Venezuela and him having to be a kind of road warrior, I think that's one of the bigger reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's I was just, because when I was watching that fight, I was like, man, this guy is so good. Like, if this guy was just even average in terms of his punch resistance and his durability, like, he can be fucking amazing, And I know it's like, I think I'm definitely the harshest of everyone that I've spoken to in regards to Linares, but I still have that, Thompson and DeMarco fight just like etched in my head, and like I'm one of those like stubborn boxing fans, man. Like once I see somebody just kind of lose against lower level guys, like a Thompson type of guy, like it's very hard for me to just forgive that fighter. Like I'm really stubborn when it comes to like changing my opinion on fighters.
It's always in the back of your head.
Yeah.
No, I'm like that as well.
Yeah, man. I want to see that Mikey fight though, but I think Golden Boy is gonna ask Mikey for some bullshit contract. Like you have to fight with us for a 3-term fight minimum or whatever, just because they have no assets. Canelo makes up like 90% plus of their revenue, so they're fucking desperate for stars.
But this is my point. Why not then sign it? Maybe one with a possibility of a second fight, and do your job. Do a really fucking good job, so Mikey doesn't want to leave.
Yeah,
it's on these people as well,
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but I just think Golden Boy isn't just such shambles. If you compare it to what Schaefer's doing and Heyman's doing to a larger extent, it just kind of pales in comparison. Because Golden Boy, I think, has become kind of a laughingstock, so to speak, lately. Especially with Oscar getting DUIs left and right and all that shit. It's just not a good look. And then his translator, I know the guy is entertaining, but he doesn't seem like somebody that I'd want to work with.
As your head matchmaker.
Yeah. The guy was a translator like a couple of years ago. Like what is he doing as a matchmaker now? All of a sudden.
Yeah. All right. Anything else regarding this fight?
No, man. Just props to Linares, man. And like I said, I mean, with a wife like that, I'd be fucking 0-35, and I wouldn't give a fuck.
Leon, you got anything else? I just want to quickly say that uppercut that dropped Crolla, was it in the 7th? That was a beautiful shot in between the guard.
Yeah, and he did a bit of a walk away, like half walk away as well.
Yeah, no, that was a nice shot. But Kimo was also saying like it looked like he could have took him out, but he took his foot off the gas a bit, and I think it comes down to my point earlier that he seemed a bit sorry for him, and I think he could have took him out if he pressed it, but decided not to.
He didn't feel like he was under any threat, did he? So it was like if you thought, oh, this guy might come on real strong in the last 5 rounds, and I've got him hurt, I'll jump on him. He's given me tough rounds at the beginning, but there was nothing there for him to worry him, which isn't So what can why step on the gas?
Yep. All right, Dan. Did you see any other boxing over the weekend?
I saw bits of the Quigley fight.
While you're on then, because I know sometimes you have to jump on and off. We'll quickly talk on that, and then we'll go back to the rest of the Manchester card. The bits you did see.
No. Yeah. No, I mean it was just I don't have anything to say about it. Just they're both like average level fighters.
Yeah.
Quigley's not that good.
Yeah, I'll come back to it, but like my jury's still out on Quigley, and I know he's not really impressed me so far, and that Tapia fight didn't really help to convince me anything other than that. But Leon, what undercard did you see on this Manchester card? What fights did you catch?
I only watched the Morrison fight afterwards, especially because fucking Chemo started bombing my Twitter going fight of the year, it's fight of the year. Like me, he's going at me, you and Brian. Oh, it's fight of the year. You got to watch it. Fuck's sake! It was a good fight. Worse. It was fun, but I mean, Jesus.
There's nothing worse than reading that guy commentate fights. Like he'll just in text like, it was 50,000 exclamation marks and
in capitals.
I'm like, and then I go back and I'm like, what are you fucking commentating on? Like, are we watching the same fight?
He's a pure troll, man.
He is. I still love the guy, but he does get on my nerves from time to time.
But Leon, the Morrison fight.
Yeah. What was going on there?
I don't know. Like he had the attributes, he had the reach and that, but
The size.
apart from the first few rounds, it just seemed like he badly gassed, man, and the pressure just got to him. He just couldn't take that. Wellborn was sitting on his chest and he was throwing so many punches, and it just like he caved under the pressure.
He did, but why was he not throwing his jab?
God knows.
And like
the times he did, he was having success. Like the 1-2, the straight punches were working well when he did use them.
Yeah, but it was so easy for is it Wellborn?
Yeah, just to get close to him, didn't it?
Oh, he was just walking in. He could have walked in there with his hands down at points.
Yep, I agree.
And Bellew was going first. I thought Bellew did a good job on that card.
I agree. Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah, he did. But there was one thing funny. He goes, the first round he went, I think it's really good that he feels comfortable that he can go on the ropes and use his skills and avoid punches. And then like 3 rounds later, it's like, he's got to get off the ropes. He can't avoid the punches.
Totally went 180 on him.
Just 180 on him straight away. But he was getting, I mean, after round 3, he didn't win very much else, did he?
Nah. He just retreated. The snap went out of his punches. Anytime he did throw back, it was arm punches. He was trying to push him off him very often, which he didn't really get warned for. And Wellborn, man, his pace and his aggression and his output was amazing. Like even like towards the 9th and the 10th, he was throwing high volume and he still had snap on his punches. And yeah, like Kimo was saying to me, like for like a British kind of journey level middleweight, and I think he's fought at super middleweight also. He's pretty good, man, for his performance. What he showed, you wouldn't think that he was just like a kind of average British journeyman, would you? Really, from that kind of performance?
No. Didn't he fight Macklin?
He did fight Macklin, yeah. He lost to Macklin.
And take him close, didn't he?
Yeah, it was close, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good fighter, but look, what have they been doing? This is the problem again with matchroom matchmaking. Is how many times has this happened? They don't seem to go up in little increments, do they? Through their first 8 or 9, 10 fights.
Yeah, basically, it's easy fight, easy fight, easy fight, easy fight, cliff.
Yeah, but look, they must have not. That's the other thing. Is like if you fight. This is going to sound wrong, but if you fight a lot of journeymen from Europe, and this is, no xenophobia or anything, not many of them are coming to win.
That's true.
Let's be honest. A lot of those guys are there, and some British level guys.
They just happy to pick up a check, and like as long as they don't get stopped, so they can fight next week, they don't mind.
Look, man, these people are the lifeblood of the sport, so I'm not criticising them. I'm criticising the criticism of the matchmaking, but they've got to know that guy gave Macklin a good fight. He's on a big Sky card. You've got to think, ooh, should we go with him now? Like, I think there's some merit in fighting British guys on Sky TV because some of them are going to come to win. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit more in it for them. Yeah. It means a bit more. They've got a couple hundred people in the crowd.
They've got pride on
so you suddenly, yeah, exactly. You start to get into a real fight. He hadn't had a real fight yet. He was blasting people out, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then you've come up against a guy who is willing to bite down on his shield. We're not saying he's a better fighter, because like Bell, you said, you'd still pick Morrison's skills, wouldn't you?
If he used him, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, zero head movement.
Yeah,
he was just getting shots to the head, left the whole fight, wasn't he?
Yeah, pretty like straight up as well. You don't really, he don't really use his fucking movement or his size to his advantage. But he's only 24 though, so hopefully he can kind of recoup on that. Bell, you saying
he'll be off. He'll be off. I tell you, if Quig's smart enough, and he's a Lego eater. So I mean, come on. They're all going to be jumping ship soon, aren't they?
Well, Dan saw Quigg the other day driving out the wrong entrance of the wildcard gym, so that's not a good start. He might end up in a car crash.
It was terrible, man. It was so obvious too. Like, so when you enter the gym, like you have to go in a circle, right? And what do you call it? Counterclockwise, and the guy goes clockwise. And like I was like, dude, you almost ran over somebody, man. What the fuck?
Look, man, you don't know what it's like to be Quig. Quig does what Quig wants to do when Quig wants to do it. You're not living the Quig lifestyle.
It was so fitting that he was riding shotgun with his mom. His mom seemed like a really nice lady, but I mean, I was like, who takes their mom to the box?
You're fucking. You are. I can never be sure, but you're fucking trolling, right?
No.
I swear
He's telling the truth.
I swear to God, I'm not. Right when I entered, I was thinking about taking a picture. I really was, but I was like, no, I don't want to be one of those guys. But I swear to you, I drove in. He was driving a C350, so good for him. He's driving a fucking Mercedes. But yeah, it was just comedic. The fact that he was just driving on the wrong side of the fucking lane.
So his mum wasn't driving?
No, he was driving.
You know, if they got a ticket, he'd have gone, Mum, take this one.
My mum's my best mate.
She'd take the ticket, man. She's his best mate.
Yeah, sorry, are you guys just still shitting on Tesco Joe?
Yeah, I think actually one more. Yeah, Leon, you should have pulled him out, innit? Like 6th, 7th round, like Morrison was taking a beating. Come on, just pull him out.
Oh yeah, because he was getting lit up from 6, 7, 8, all the way to the end, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to him, and he took his licks.
He
took
did,
his licks,
but
right?
he's 24. Like, I think he could have just avoided some of the extra damage he took late on, because Bellew was saying, maybe he's broken his nose because he was having constant blood from his nose, and Bellew also said that maybe Wellborn has punctured his ear drum because he was having balancing issues. But I didn't really see that. There was one round where he looked a bit shaky, but he recovered well, and after that he didn't look like he had a damaged eardrum. But I'm not sure. I didn't go into post-fight interviews on IFL to check what they were saying. I didn't really have the time. So.
Neither did I. But you got to give him. He fucking deserved to win that fight. No bullshit. He beat him up and he won it fair and square. And it's good to see like these British level fights again. This is what we'd much rather see, the prospects fighting in these British level kind of fights, wouldn't we? Rather than just a load of journeymen. Yeah.
No, like I prefer competitive fights, but like when you're ready, like don't just keep padding up records and then throw them in the deep end. But let's move on. I said on Twitter on Saturday that we shall not be discussing the Anfield Brian the Nose Rose fight, because that was one of the worst fights I've seen. I swear to God it was a 15-rounder, because it seemed that long that the fight was just not ending. But I'm not touching that fight, Leon, unless you've got anything to add.
I watched nothing, but what round did his nose go in? Like the third or fourth. That's all I was trying to follow on Twitter.
I think it lasted like at least like 2-3 rounds until it finally went.
Fuck, man, I feel sorry for Brian Rose, because I mean he seems like a nice guy, but I mean he's done well to get where he got to. But I mean that there's nowhere to go now, is there?
Nah, and also it was quite funny that the Battle of Blackpool happened in Manchester. It was like the Battle of Ohio happening in Vegas. So I think Hearn's taking the PBC playbook out of venues for your fights.
Yeah, but I saw someone on Twitter saying, "Oh, who's winning in blah, Rose or Armfield?" and someone just replied, "Sleep." So that's all you needed to know. So I was like, I'm not going back to watch that.
Yeah, and quickly, I think the first TV fight was Ward versus Hughes, the third fight, but a few people I was speaking to enjoyed it, but I just thought it was an average fight, especially the fact that they fought twice before. So I'm not really
I watched the first two. I wasn't doing it to myself again.
I don't blame you, Leon. And I'll just quickly touch on Katie Taylor. Not actually touch her, because that would be inappropriate. But her
disgusting pig.
Her opponent, Khaliva, I was talking to Kimo, and she was a bit of a step up. I think she was a former title challenger, failed in the title shot, but I'm not going to say she was great, but she was better than the former opponent. She was trying to counter her and throw with her and actually throw punches back at her, and she did catch her a few times. I think Taylor, with the last few opponents, she's kind of got used to being dominant and the opponent's not throwing back because she's just like beating them up. This girl, she was quite tough. She took some shots, and both me and Chemo thought that Taylor, when she was getting close, she was a bit smothering her own punches. She was getting a bit too close, and then she was also putting herself into a position squared up, and then Khalifa was making it, finding it easy to kind of clinch her and just break up the action. And I think Taylor could have done a bit better, just use the range. Even I think her trainer was saying it, like, you're smothering yourself a bit, you step back a bit and let your shots off. But as technique, man, she's lovely to watch, man. She put punches together so well, and she looks very spiteful. There was a point where Khalifa, I think she thought her nose was bleeding, so she kind of like rubbed her glove against the nose to check if there was blood on it. And Taylor just took that as like lack of concentration, and she kind of jumped on her. So when she's in the ring, man, she don't fuck about. She's like, route one, I'm gonna take her out, which I like. I don't like all this touching gloves sometimes, whether it be in the women's or the men's. Like, you see it in some of the men's fight, like every round, like the touch gloves, and we had a bit of head clash over touch gloves, and it's like, come on, man, put some spite into your shit, stop being so friendly. But like, Katie's just like a beast when it comes to that shit. She's taking no prisoners. But let's see where she goes next, see if it's another step up. But
I hope she. I'd like to. I tell you, I don't watch women's boxing, but if there's a title fight, something that really, I would watch that, because I think I need to speak to this a bit. Like, so I have a few people contacting me going, I'm doing myself a disservice because I'm being very negative about women's boxing. Look, Cam, you're a hip hop fan. Do you have everything by Da Brat, Lady Rage, fucking Salt and Pepper?
Of course not, man. But I respect her.
Sexist pig, you sexist pig.
Is that the way you're spinning it on me? Is that the way you...
No, I'm just saying, look, I have no issue with her. She's extremely skillful. I just don't watch it. But it doesn't mean, it's like, I could ask someone, do you like black metal? They go, no. Well, it's like, well, I don't expect you to listen to every fucking kind of music. I don't watch some men's boxing. Like, I'm not being pilloried for saying, you don't watch women's boxing. It's ridiculous. And we've spoken about it before. It's about the skill level. If she was fighting someone really, really, really good, and she's really, really good, I'd watch it.
No, I see where you're coming from, and I'm not against you not like following the sport.
No, some people have said to me, but it's just like, I said it before, I made the comparison before. Women's gymnastics, those people are elite athletes. They do things that are fucking insane. I watched that with my wife. That stuff was fucking mental, and at the highest level, right? So you'd watch that, but it's not always the high. That wasn't a great matchup, was it? I don't know, was it? I mean, when she fights her opponent with a belt, I'm sure I'll tune in.
No, that's fair, but that was the fourth fight. She fought a girl and it went 8 rounds. I think women's championship fights are 10 rounds. So she's like 2 fights off fighting for, 2 rounds off fighting for, a title, in the sense of she can go the rounds. Because even in the 7th and 8th, she still had high output. She was still throwing a lot of punches. So it shows how advanced she is to be doing that in the 4th. So I could see you fighting for a title very soon. Obviously, I don't really know who the title holders are or whatever, how good they are, but she's definitely would have a good fight with someone under elite level, because I think she's elite for what she is. When you watch her, she looks really good. But
yeah, I'm sure she'd ice some male boxers. Like, I'm sure she can fucking handle herself. She'd ice all of us. Like, but it's about the level of competition, isn't it? Again, that's what it comes down to. Yeah,
that's fair. Hosea Burton was on, I think Sky started to put some of their earlier fights on their Facebook channel. It's either Sky put it on their Facebook or Matchroom put it on their Facebook. I'm not 100% sure, but
I think it's Sky.
Okay, I didn't watch it. It was up there. I think Davey Boy Essex put it up there, but yeah.
Well, what's he doing? I mean, I guess it's a comeback fight, so he's allowed to start again. But are they going to make that fight again?
I hope so. The first one was so good, and you can give him a pass to kind of get back in the ring and get some confidence back. But Lawrence Okolie made his debut. I saw that as well. That was one of these Facebook fights, and he just iced out a guy, man. He was 0-2, and he took him out in 20 seconds, man. It was pretty scary, man, the way he finished him off with the right hand. But
he fought a guy who was 0-2.
Yeah.
And they were saying that this guy's a monster puncher, and they put a guy in like that.
That's why some of this early matchmaking is pretty bad, man. Because that's how people get hurt. Like, if this guy's so good, should he be fighting a guy that's 0-2?
No, you at least didn't go, right, we've got someone who's, 8-30,
Or like,
who's a tough fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
A guy that can go rounds a bit, and if you take him out, then fair enough. Like, props to you, but usually he can survive. So, yeah, I agree with you. You shouldn't be putting a guy like that in against him, if especially at cruiser, because those guys can hit, man. Like, don't get me wrong, every weight class you can hit, but cruiserweight, they're big dudes.
That's damage. You can really damage someone, can't you? I mean, you can damage anyone with a punch, but up there, they're, like you said, they're monsters.
Yep. And that was really about it for that card. You quickly want to touch on... It's funny because I saw your message on Friday, and I totally forgot that Josh Taylor was fighting.
We didn't review it, did we?
No, yeah, because
we didn't preview it or anything.
Yeah, we didn't mention it last Monday because it was kind of under the radar. And I knew he was fighting, but my main schedule that I look at didn't have it listed, and it was actually a decent little card for was it a Friday night on Spike TV?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good little card, and he looked very, very good again. He got badly cut, and he dealt with that very well, I thought, and so did his corner. And the knockout punch was a thing of beauty. So, I mean, he just moves on, right?
Yeah.
It kind of felt like a moving on fight,
I just watched a bit more of it before the show just to kind of remind me of how the fight went, and the atmosphere in there was fucking crazy, Leon. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He's they can start. I mean, they're stepping up already. He's Commonwealth champion. What's that? How many fights is that now?
That was his 9th fight.
Yeah, so I mean, he's moving quickly, isn't he?
Yep.
There's no point, hanging around. I mean, you don't want to be fucking end up in Callum Smith's fucking position, do you? Where you fought fucking no one in ages, and then you suddenly got a world title shot away from home.
Yeah. Now, but quickly on Taylor, he does this little thing where, like, you kind of throw like a short little 1-2, like a kind of, almost like a feint. Like he'll throw these little feints, let the guy react, and then throw his final punch, just to kind of open him up, let him try and like block the shot that he's not going to throw, and then hit him. And he did it so often. And there was another really successful punch. It was like a counter left uppercut to the body.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, he was throwing it all night, and it was catching him and all that. It was landing, and the final shot, again, it was a counter, kind of slipped down to his left, came back with the backhand, the southpaw backhand, and on the button. And I actually thought maybe dude could continue, but do you think he was right to throw the towel in? Because the guy did start taking a bit of a beating.
It wasn't going anywhere, was it?
No.
Let's be real. But I mean, going back to him, he is as well-rounded a young fighter as we've produced in a while, I think. Don't you? There's no major flaws.
No, like, were you one of the people that were a bit critical of his display on the Frampton, the Santa Cruz 2 fight?
Yeah, he looked off pace, didn't he? He was one pace. He didn't like this fight. He stepped through the gears a bit, but he had a little off night coming up. But everyone does that.
I think it's because there was no Glaswegian crowd in the background, so it didn't look as hyped as he normally did. The crowd makes a massive difference, man. Because I was hyped watching that fight, and my wife was sitting next to me, and when he dropped the dude, I was like, "Oh!" And she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Did you see the guy get dropped?" And like, yeah, I was hyped watching that fight.
Your wife lets you watch it. I have to fucking fight for the control cam.
Yeah,
it's tough being me, man.
We all know that. Who wears the trousers in your household?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
And the undercard, there was the comeback of Conrad Cummings after that loss he had in that undercard fight. I think what was it? George Groves, was it?
I think so. Yeah, it was the one at Wembley Arena. Was that right?
Who was fighting on that fight? Yeah, it was Groves versus Goodnecht, wasn't it? Yeah, that's when he took
the guy.
First loss against that Mitard guy in that close fight. But yeah, he came back with a nice stoppage, I think, in the 3rd round. And there was another dude from Scotland, Jason Easton, fighting Zoltan Szabo, who's we've seen quite often lately. He fought on the ITV card against was it Robbie Davis Jr.
Yeah.
He's fought Stephen Orman twice in Scotland, and then fought O'Hara Davis a couple of years last year in York Hall. So he's been over here quite often, and he just took him out, man. Like, this guy, he came out quite competitive, but as soon as Easton landed on him a few times, man, he took him out, and no one's really done that to him before.
No, I haven't, but he did look a little sloppy, didn't he, I thought, in places. But that 140 is shaping up to be nice again, isn't it? 140 has always been quite good to us in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK,
recently.
hasn't it? Yeah, it's, if they start fighting each other, yeah, if they start fucking avoiding each other, then no, because...
Well, there's all that nonsense with O'Hara, wasn't there? I mean, he does himself fucking no favours, and his tweets are like, if you're going to do it, fucking work harder, man, because that shit is not funny. That does not flow. That's some long-winded banter that he's got there, man.
Yeah, that was really about it. But
you want that fight. I still think, everyone I saw people saying that Taylor just walks through him. I mean, O'Hara's a prick, but I mean, he's solid at that weight. He's got some advantages in size and reach and stuff. So we want to see that fight. Like, we all want to see that. As supposed hardcores, we want to see that fight.
That's a competitive fight. I don't think he's going to walk through O'Hara, but I definitely would pick Taylor to win. But who's going to stand in the way of that fight is not going to be... look, McGuigans are probably not the easiest cats to get along with, but Taylor wants that fight. O'Hara, we don't know what he wants. From Twitter, he wants money, but it's like, that's not a money fight yet. That could be Groves to Gale all over again. That. Yeah, no, that's true.
Make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen. Let's quickly move on. Time's running short. The card Dan mentioned earlier, it was on Thursday night, Fantasy Springs. It was the first of the Golden Boy and ESPN tie-up, showcasing some of their, up-and-coming boxers and stuff. Jason Quigley versus Glenn Tapia. As I said earlier, like, the jury's out for me still in Quigley. Like, he's not really impressed me so far, and there were times against Tapia, like the first 3 rounds, he came out throwing lots of shots. He doesn't throw a lot of straight punches. Everything's like right hook, left hook. He just switch it upstairs and downstairs, but not that many straight punches. He hurt Tapia. I think it was a second. He caught him with a nice. I think it was a right hook when Tapia was trying to throw a right uppercut. He didn't go down, but he managed to survive the round out. And then like Tapia started coming back in a few rounds. He started to put pressure on Quigley coming forward. Quigley, like I said, I think he took too much out of him in the first few rounds, took too much energy out of himself, and then after that, I would say the fourth, like, his output really dropped. The snap of the punches left him. A lot of stuff was arm punches, like he would throw like the backhand as a lead hand, and like, there was nothing really on it. It was just more to keep Tapia away from him and keep him at range rather than actually trying to hurt him. I think I gave Tapia 3 rounds, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's still a competitive fight, if that makes sense. I think if Tapia could just done it a bit more, there was a few rounds where he was walking him down, but when he got close, he wasn't doing much. And I think he could have he could have won those rounds if he just put a bit more effort into it. But yeah, the jury's out for me and Quigley. Yeah, I don't really rate him that highly. I don't think you saw it, Leon, and I know Dan saw bits and bobs. So if you guys,
I only saw a little bit, but I saw his previous fight and he looked good. So it was a little. I only saw about 5 or 6 rounds. It was disappointing. But did he hurt his hand? Supposedly,
Quigley.
I heard.
I've not heard that. If he did, then that maybe would make sort of more sense. But I don't know. It's like even so, I don't.
His right hand, I think.
Oh, that would maybe explain why he kind of faded, but possibly.
Yeah. Well, let's just see what they do next with him. I guess if he's injured, he might be off for a bit, but I don't think they're going to be moving much beyond Tapia's level anytime quickly, are they?
No, I think after that performance, they're going to take it a bit slow because B-Hop was on the commentary team as well, and obviously he's got an investment in Golden Boy, and he wasn't talking that highly of Quigley, so I think he'll probably try and put the brakes on it a bit because, as we said before, their stable's quite thin, so I don't think they're going to rush guys that are up and coming. But as I'm talking about the commentary team, my boy was back, man. Teddy was back. It's a shame Joe Tessitore wasn't there, man. It was that Bernard Asano, what his name is, which I don't really like. I don't really rate him. I don't know where Joe Tessitore was, but I miss shit like this, man.
I always never understood why trainers didn't teach fighters in the gym the most basic thing. Don't go straight back. If a train was coming at you and you're on the railroad track, Bernard, you wouldn't go running back on the track. You get off the damn track.
You get off the damn track, Leon. Like, he's making it so simple. How can you not love shit like that? You know.
I enjoy it.
Lots
of
in the
people hate
basement.
him, but he's a funny fucker, isn't he?
Him and B-Hop were annoying though. Like, it's kind of like
Were they?
They were like
hear it.
They were working well together, but every so now and again you could tell like they were trying to get one up on the other guy. So he's trying to like explain it better than him. So then he's trying to go. And like, at one point they were totally not even talking about what was happening in the fight. And it's like Bernardo Osana, he had to like jump in and go, "Oh, that was a great shot landed by Quigley." And he's like, "Shit, man, come on, keep your eye on the ball, guys. Stop trying to fucking show who's got the bigger balls and the bigger knowledge." But it was good to have Teddy back. The other fight, Tyrone Zuge, I tried to find it. I couldn't find it on YouTube, couldn't find it on Daily Motion. He won a technical decision over Isaac Ekpo in Germany. Got a really bad cut in the 5th round, apparently. And some people had some stuff to say about the cards, because from what I was reading, it was quite competitive up until that until the stoppage, and the cards were pretty poor, like pretty biased towards Zuge. So I don't know what that was about. You know what these German cards are like. But I'm mentioning cards quickly. Just going back to Atlas. One thing I do like about him, like if there's some shitty cards, he does call out the judges and call out the poor cards. And the cards against Tapia were really poor. I'm just trying to bring you up now. I think one guy had it like 10-0. I'm just trying to find it. Give me 2 secs.
Go for it.
10-0, 9-1, and 8-2. And it wasn't that type of fight. It wasn't at all. Like it was competitive, and it's good to see when the commentary team, unlike Sky, like if it was a Sky card, they wouldn't even mention the fact that the cards are so wide. They just kind of skim over it. So the fact that Teddy actually fucking calls out these stupid fuckers is a good thing.
Cam, you can't have wide cards when you've got 6 even rounds.
What can you do?
What can you do with them?
And that's about it, unless you guys got any news to add. I know we're going to preview next week. Not much. It's only really Hook and Bradis, and ESPN they got another one of these cards. It's Anthony Orozco's on there, but it is one of their smaller cards. So again, it's good to have ESPN back though. But yeah, you guys got any news you want to discuss? I was looking through, last week's boxing scene, and there wasn't really much new fights or new announcements or anything. It's pretty quiet week.
No, it's not. We're kind of lined up for a bit, aren't we? So I wasn't expecting. I guess next couple of weeks there'll be some summer fights starting to get announced.
Fingers crossed. I know someone's mentioned in the chat that is there any undercard announced for Joshua Klitschko yet? I'm just gonna.
Isn't Quigg on there? Quigg versus someone I saw on Twitter the other day.
That's if he's not
boxing addict.
That's not if he's involved in a car crash driving in the wrong direction in LA.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's a danger to himself. I'm sure someone said that it had been added.
BoxRec's only showing Katie Taylor.
Oh, you're joking.
Against TBA. So that's not a good look at the moment, is it? What is that? What is it now? About 5 weeks out? That's not good.
Not good.
Not
is that
good.
all it is? 5 weeks now?
Yeah, for 4.5. Yeah, it's pretty poor. The fact that like there's nothing else mentioned. They're just milking the fact that it's fucking Klitschko and Joshua. They don't give a fuck about the undercard.
Nah, they ain't got no money. I mean, they should have a load of money, really, shouldn't they? But he turned 41 last week, didn't he?
If he had a big ass party and blew all the money.
No, but 40. He's an old dude to be going in with AJ, man. I know AJ is got flaws and has not yet to be proven, but I mean, he's pushing on, isn't he? I'm just saying that the Colt could run roughshod over all of us if the worst happens.
Oh shit!
If he gets blasted, like a good fight, it's just the idea that he walks through him in a couple of rounds. Can you imagine?
That's horrible, man.
Close the shutters. Lock the gates.
The casual
walk out the back door and never come back, Cam.
I might have to deactivate my Twitter for a couple of weeks if that happens, because the casuals are going to be crazy, man. They're going to be comparing AJ better than Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and all that shit. I'm going to have to just close down for a few weeks. But Shams 1000 reminded me, man, they had that Brooks Spence press conference, which was quite funny. A lot of funny things said. I don't know if like fucking Brooke was trolling him, but he was saying that he watched highlights of the Spence Golovkin fight, and Golovkin didn't look the same, and possibly maybe he took something out of Golovkin.
Well, his trainer, old right said Fred.
He said that as well,
yeah. He said he knocked the stuffing out of him or something.
I don't know what he actually said, but I seen an interview where Brooke himself was saying that like he thinks he took something out of Golovkin, which is quite funny. The fact that he kept a straight face when he said it, I found it hilarious. His acting skills are excellent.
I was just... Look, they got a fight to sell. Their boy got their face caved in, but he landed some good shots, so they're going to use anything to sell this fight. It doesn't... I mean, it's a great fight. I mean, no one's complaining about... I mean, we're complaining about the fact it's on pay-per-view.
That's pretty bad, though.
It's on pay-per-view, and he's getting the credit for mandatory. We've gone over all those points. But at the same time, I cannot wait to find my stream to watch that.
This is terrible pay-per-view, though.
I mean, can you imagine the state of what the undercard's going to be like?
The undercard's going to be trash. The stadium, that's going to be half empty, man. That's going to be like the Bellevue one, where it's half of the stadium, and even half of it's not even full.
Half of it, Bellevue, the ring was in the fucking goal area.
A bit different to Creed, isn't it? Like in Creed, it was the whole fucking stadium.
I know, but I mean, I don't know. By all accounts, he doesn't sell that well. But I don't know. You know, they're on a whatever you say about him. Hearn's on a roller. You know, I can see him. Pulling it off. You know, Cam.
Don't say that, man. You're gonna ruin.
I know. I hate to say it, but you know, he's a lot of things, but. He's definitely born with a horseshoe up his ass, you know. He's a lucky boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and didn't it get a bit fiery, the press conference? I didn't see it, but by all accounts.
Apparently did. It seemed like Spence's team were kind of like instigating stuff and saying like, Golovkin beat the shit out of you, blah, blah, and stuff. It did
well,
it did get a bit fiery. I think the chocolate brownie was mentioned, and Spencer's like, what the fuck's the chocolate brownie? So he's like, what's this shit? What are you talking about?
He's not the smartest, he's not the sharpest knife, is he?
No. But
you know, I'm glad that the fight's happening. I'm not all the stuff surrounding it, no thanks, but yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anything else you want to talk about?
What else has been announced? Not much else has been announced. I mean, we got this. When is Hook and Braid? Is it Friday?
It's Saturday, Box Nation.
It's Saturday.
Yeah.
And where's that? Germany?
Yeah.
That's a good fight, isn't it?
Yeah, let's get into that, and then I do want to mention two things, but they'll be quick. What do you think? I do rate Bradis, but I've always been a fan of Hook, and he is definitely on the slide. His output is decreased. His punch resistance decreased. Like, he's had a lot of tough fights. So I do favour Bradis, but I could see it like being a tough fight until like maybe the 8th, 9th, or 10th, when it slowly gets to him. Hook gets taken out possibly, but I don't think it's going to be easy work for Bradis.
No, because Hook's have to use all his experience, like old man tricks, and you know, I think he's going to have to be quite. Not tactical. Tactical's not the right word, but yeah, just using all the advantages you can get. But Bradis is there to be hit, but to hit him, you've got to put yourself in danger, haven't you? So, I mean, I would pick Bradis to stop him maybe late-ish. Yeah. Kind of like Glowacki did him, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
But I just don't know how much he had left, because what was his last fight? He beat one of our boys, didn't he?
Was that the fourth fight with the... No, I think he had a fight after that.
Did he? So he had a couple of fights, but how has he looked? I can't remember, really.
He looked alright. I think I've seen his last fight. I'm trying to score on his box rec. He fought that Kucha guy, the guy that knocked out Enzo.
Oh yeah, and did he beat him on points?
Yeah, he beat him on points, and he kind of beat him relatively easy, you know. So he's not shot, but
No.
he beat the shit out of Afolabi in there. I think that was his fourth fight last year as well. But that was almost like, okay, I took this loss to Glowacki. Let's go back and beat a former foe again for no reason. And Afolabi was shot by them. Like he was terrible in that fight.
Didn't he have like half a belt or something that he got off that Russian card or one of those funny little things? Is that why he fought him?
Yeah, that was Afolabi got the IBO when he was fighting in Russia, didn't it, when he took that dude out.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know the Germans like an IBO, just like the Eubanks.
Yeah, but Bradis has got good kind of upper body movement coming forward. I think it could. I fancy him to win it, Cam. You know, quite convincingly in the end.
We'll see. I think it definitely be a good fight, though.
Oh yeah, I'm 100% because they're both there. You know, they're going to be trading, aren't they?
Yep, and as being Box Nation subscribers, we'll get that. So
yep,
props to Box Nation.
Yeah, my Sky runs out in a couple of weeks, Cam. It's done. It's over. No more Eddie Hearn cards on my TV.
Well, I'll hook you up, man. You'll be able to get him in a different way. So.
Yeah, no, I feel good though. I feel clean and cleansed.
That you're not putting money into the machine.
Because I didn't realise I've been with them. I had that fucking Sky Sports package for 14 years, Cam.
Wow, that's dedication.
14 years. I got it. I'm paying almost. I got to keep most of my channels, but not the Sky Sports. But I'm like, it's like £14 a month or something now because they were desperate because they didn't want me to completely leave.
Oh, so they give you incentive to stay.
Yeah. After my 14 years, fuck, I'm an old cunt.
Shit, man, that's crazy, man. So
yeah,
that's dedication. Just the two things I wanted to mention is. My boxing circle sent me 2 links today. Well, one I saw that I think it was shown on Box Nation yesterday. Just a little kind of teaser for Walsh versus Gervonta. It's on Box Nation's YouTube channel. It's about 7 minutes long. It's not bad actually. Like the filming and the voiceover and the editing. It's a lot better than Box Nation's usual stuff. So you get to see a bit of Floyd in there talking some smack and. It's basically behind the scenes of the press conference they have, but it's not actually a bad watch, and the fact that it's only like 7-8 minutes, you can't really complain. Sorry.
Why is it? Do you think they put it on so early because to try and sell tickets?
Yeah, I think that's the reason, and also the fact that it's Floyd's involved. They're just trying to use his name and get more interest into the fight, and you know there's definitely going to be like a few more shows. Of this style because they're going to milk this fight. The fact that they spent money bringing Gervonta over, they're going to milk it and have a lot of behind the scenes and face offers and all that type of shit. I think.
Well, they need. I mean, he need. Look, it works for Hearn. Whatever we say, it works. So Frank knows that he's got to fucking up his game and get his stuff done. But I haven't watched it yet, but I will watch it. But nearer the time because we're going to the fight. So, but I want to get hyped. Closer to the time, if you see what I mean.
Yep. And the other one that I got sent today was the Vasyl Lomachenko 2 days. Basically, the short documentary before his fight against Nicholas Walters. So that was a good watch as well, because there was a point where, again, you don't know if it's true, but his manager was saying that he started boxing when he was 4, and then I think when he was 8 or 9, his dad pulled him out and sent him to I think it was like a traditional type of Ukrainian dancing. So he did dancing for 4 years, and after 4 years he pulled him out and said, now you're ready for the footwork in boxing. And I found it interesting because when you look at his footwork, man, you can tell that he does almost like have that kind of like dancing fluidity that dancers do have, and it's kind of genius move by his props to do that so early if it's a true story. So that was remarkable, and it's just one of those 2 days where everything's behind the scenes and the whole build up, and it's again nice little watch. I think it's about 15 minutes, but that's on HBO.
Yeah, I saw that. I'll watch that.
Yeah, that's on HBO's YouTube channel, so definitely catch that as well.
and not geo-locked, so we can watch it.
Well, you say that, but it'll probably get geo-locked and removed next week or some shit. Like HBO, weird.
Okay.
Sometimes they put shit on their own fucking YouTube and then remove it afterwards, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and how far off? When's that end of April? Like 28th, something like that, is it?
No, that's in 2 weeks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's not this weekend. It's the weekend after.
That's the same weekend as Williams and
yeah,
Smith.
same as Smith and Williams. Yeah.
That's a good weekend of fights, then, that, isn't it?
Exactly, man. I'm looking forward to that.
That's a great weekend.
I think I'll try and get Chemo to do a Friday show, especially now the time difference is only 3 hours. So.
Oh, definitely. But there'll be no naps before those fights can, will there?
No.
Power through.
Yep.
You know that Warren card ain't finishing until 1 a.m.
Exactly. I'm still like considering whether to go to that. I might like leave it till the last week, and if I could pick up some cheap tickets, I might go. But Eddie Hearn is right. The ticket sales haven't been good because I was looking at the seat map, and like there are a lot of seats still available.
Yeah, I know, but they're just getting there, aren't they? This is their first fight on BT Sports, isn't it?
It is, but like it is a decent card, and the fact that the sales have been a bit shit, it's a shame, really, because like Eddie Hearn basically provides the boxing fans with garbage, and his fights are well.
But
sold.
I think it'd have been smarter. Like, you see this thing at a Copper Box that we're going to.
Yeah.
What's that? Like 5,000, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of size he should be dealing with at the moment, because you want to make it look big, don't you?
Yeah, the problem
But
is...
what do you do up north? I don't know. There's not many kind of those mid-level arenas, is there?
Totally, you just hit the nail on the spot. The only, like, the smaller place in Manchester, you'd say, is the Velodrome, which is not too far from the City Stadium, but I don't think that's enough. Like, I think if you had it there, then you kind of, like... cutting off your own finger a bit, because you could have made more money on ticket sales. So there's no in-between place really in Manchester. If there's a place that, like you said, have 4,000 or 5,000, it would be just perfect, because the Manchester Arena, like, for Frankie, is a bit too big, isn't it, really?
It is. But what is that one in Liverpool?
The Echo.
Yeah, what does that hold?
I think that's similar to... I think it's just a bit smaller than Manchester, but I think what Frank will end up doing with this card in 2 weeks, I think he'll just, as he's done in the past, he'll just have half the stadium. So he'll have half the lower bowl, which he has done before, which does look a bit
So if you
shit.
buy cheap tickets, you'll get moved down, will you?
Normally that's what happens, yeah.
So why would anyone buy an expensive ticket at a Warren show?
I think that's why people are kind of resistant to buy.
Yeah.
But Leon, I'm done for the night unless you got anything else. I know Liam's still on the line. Dan, are you still there? Might just be listening. You got anything else?
I'm good. I'm good, man. That was a short one, but
short but sweet.
There wasn't much to talk about. But so what is it? So we've got Hook, Bradis this weekend. Then what's coming? Then there's the following weekend. That is Lomachenko and all that.
Yeah, so I'm considering
that's going to be big, man. That's going to be big.
I'm
that's
thinking
a big weekend.
If Hook and Bradis is just like an average fight, then I might say Chemo. If Chemo does is willing to do a show on the Friday the 7th, then we might skip next Monday's show. But I'll speak to him and see how it goes, because if like I said, it's an average fight with Hook and Bradis, I don't really just want to do a show on that and then preview next week, because it'd be good to get Chemo on the show again on a Friday. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep people...
Yeah, so let's just make Chemo do it.
Yeah, it's hard to do. He's very...
What we should do is we should just announce it and say it's happening, and if he doesn't turn up, everyone can just shit on him.
And we could just do it anyway.
Exactly.
Alright, that's fair. Yep, that's it. Guys in the chat, might as well give him a quick shout. We got J Sweet the A-side, Guy the Geezer, Nothing Something, Tico, Mr. Fix, Doughmasters, Arizona Slim, Jason268, BRD Hate, Court Music, Beast Mode, Shams 1000, Wasif 1, Mongo Sled, PM Versus, Pinhead 360, African Shah, Beats Boxing, and 7 guests. Thank you guys. Leon, Lim, thank you. We'll be back hopefully Monday, possibly the Friday. Peace.
You just listened to the Boxing Coalition.
Dude, man, I love boxing.
I fucking love boxing.
A big shout out to the Boxing Coalition.
You're a newbie.
No, I ain't new, man.
If my fucking next door neighbour became the #1 flyweight in the world, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking walk past the cunt.
Derek, how you doing, bro?
I was physically banging, blood.
I disagree.
First time I hear the show, man, it was fucking badass.
Vamos Argentina, la concha de su madre.
I see the bomb in them.
I get home and she's like, what the fuck? Me and the kid are here. Why don't you get home and talk to us? I'm like, man, you guys don't know shit about boxing.
Kel, how does it feel to be the new IBF champion?
Feels great. Great.
Did we really dive into the black hole right off the jump?
I think he's hiding glass.
Just to play devil's advocate.
You want 1 portion of crow or 2 portions of crow?
Give me 2 portions with a supersized fries and a large drink, please.
I can't stand him, what? I'm Scottish.
Cringe side?
But you won't rush Anthony fucking fat ass Joshua, would you?
He's not fat.
How about you tell us what you weighed for your final thoughts?
My weight?
Thank you for listening to the Boxing Coalition. We are live every Monday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. UK time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.